Hello everyone, it's Sloth here, and today with great pleasure I announce you a Hullbreaker Azorius control, and this is the deck that you can really play if you like drawing cards. And what control mage doesn't like to draw a lot of cards? So I really like this version of the deck. Of course, like for the card choices, you've probably seen them, right? This is just some pile, but this pile is actually pretty decent, and it has a strong distinctive like touch, let's say. Because we are drawing so many cards, we have 4 Behold the Multiverse, we have Memory Deluge, only one. The other acceptable version, I think, would be something like this. So then you go a bit more into the late game. So both work. I've been testing with 4 multiverses, and I think it works really well, because if you get mana screwed, which happens to all of us, this is your turn 2 play. And sometimes you prefer to tap out to stay into the game instead of not being able to do anything and just scooping. So that's one of the big advantages for Behold the Multiverse. And the card that we all like and love, Reckoner Bankbuster, card that is shining in this deck so freaking much because you have so many reactive spells that you basically aren't pressured to do anything for a long time most of the time, especially with 4 Sunset Revelry. This is card that I know it's said to be a trap in some ways, but I really do like this card. And in aggressive Boros meta, the fact that you can just, draw, sometimes even draw a card, gain life and create 2 blockers, like this gives you so much time. It's basically like gain 12 life or something. So don't you want to gain 12 life at the cost of 1 card, or even sometimes at 0 card cost? That seems pretty good. And in the games we've played, this card usually was okay. There was one situation only when I didn't like to draw it, but we just cycled the type before, so it's fine. Like, worst case, you just try to cycle it somehow. But Bankbuster, man, this card is just a buster. Like, when you want to cast it on turn 2, even if you tap out completely, because then you, for the rest of the game, whenever enemy doesn't play into your counter spell, which they generally don't want to do, suddenly you draw a card, and enemy has to throw spells at your counter spells, even if he doesn't want it. And if he throws something small and insignificant, you still get to draw a card. And what more, it really helps you establish mana base along the counter spells. And that's insane, because you want as much mana as possible with this deck, because we have very high top. You have 2 Farewells, 2 Devastating Mastery, Emeria Core, and double Hullbreaker Horror. So we need a lot of mana, like 11 is the sweet spot, because then you can cast Hullbreaker Horror and have 2 protection spells. And that's where you want to be. We have 2 Hullbreakers, which is actually pretty good, because you can throw away one of them. And usually you don't want to use your win condition as a 9 mana play, because then you cast it on the end step, enemy plays Infernal Grasp, then you play Jwari, you bounce it, and then he plays another Infernal Grasp, or just plays the same one after bouncing. And now you have no win condition, and you are a very sad person as a control player. If you have 2 of them, you do it, enemy needs to go all in completely to counter it, and then you prepare the next one that will be backed by 2 counter spells or 3 counter spells, and usually an enemy has 1 card in the hand by this stage. So that's the idea, and it works really well. So of course we have like Wandering Emperor, Doomskars, all the package. I think also here, if you want to experiment, I think this is also acceptable, because with Farewell, like we are running both Devastating Master and Farewell. Farewell has big issues with not being able to kill Planewalkers, and you will see in the games that that was sometimes a big problem. A Devastating Master is extremely slow, because it's not 6 mana play. It's basically 8 mana play, because you want to ensure a counter spell on the follow-up, otherwise you are behind again. So you want this Foretold and Devastating Master. So for those reasons, Fateful Absence really works well with the rest of the deck. However, I prefer this version, because this answers all the hives, all the holes, and you will see how big of a thing that was during the games. And honestly, like, we are drawing a lot of cards, but I never like giving enemy too many cards, so like I prefer to have some marches, because they are clear 1-for-1. This one can be like 0-for-1 basically, but it's still a great card, and generally as an intention, you draw way more cards than the enemy, so he draws 1 card, you in this time draw 3 cards, so you are still fine. And that's of course the trade-off for this card. You lose you gain tempo, but you lose the card advantage. So you play this when your card advantage is already way too high and you lack the tempo. So really good cards still. Okay, and I think that's the deck. That's how we were playing, and we don't have too many games, because the games with this deck are long. This is full-blown control, like the grindy style. And I think if you are like me, you will enjoy this kind of gameplay. And the games were pretty fun. I really like them. And I also included one most shameful mistake I think I've made on this channel. And you will see. I don't want to spoil it, but it's both shameful and glorious at the same time. I decided to share with you guys, so you know the ups and downs when we play, not only the ups. Sometimes you have games like this. And yeah, I think that's it for the intro. Oh, and by the way, win rate. If you want to skip the win rate, then skip ahead. But if you want to know the results, basically we won 2 games and lost 1 game, and 1 game was my complete mistake. So in a way, the deck itself had 100% win rate. Of course it's just 3 games, but it's really strong. Like, this is the main control deck, I would say. It might be even better than Despair. I'm not sure. I would have to play with both much more to compare, but I think this is like the core control deck right now. So if you like this kind of style, that's definitely the deck for you. And try it, and I'm pretty sure that you will have pretty high win rate. I would go like 60% with this one, or maybe in bigger samples 57%, which is really high generally for the deck. That's my take at least. So if you like the channel, as always, subscribe. It does help, it is appreciated, and I really do thank you everyone that did subscribe. I know sometimes a lot of people just watch the video and never subscribe, and I don't blame you, but it really does help when you click this button, and it makes me a bit happier. So without further ado, let's go into the games. I think you will enjoy them quite a lot. I did. So have fun, and thank you for watching. Okay, so we are going first with good removal, but not much other than removal. I will mulligan it. Like, Hullbreaker Horror is already like the same cards, and we are stuck with the same problem. We'll keep this one, but I'm definitely not happy about this one. And we will go with the Farewell, because it's a bit easier to cast overall. Shambling Dust, so we are against some kind of control most likely, like mono-black control to be precise. Man, the start has been rough, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty rough start. At least we have counterspell, but if we need 2 lands from the top and Memory Deluge, like, it's not exactly what I would like to have. So enemy will cast the Deadly Dispute, right? And we don't counter it, so the Soaring is what we need to counter, so it means that we need to play it tapped most likely. Because then we can use Saw It Coming for the full cost next turn after we counter Soaring this turn. Enemy didn't go for the Deadly Dispute, sorry. Oh man, that's horrible. That's a horrible draw. Cool. Playing Magic to its fullest. So we wait for the 4th land and card draw. That's basically the plan. And we counter whatever enemy has. Like, so far so good. And you don't want to remove it ever in open mana, right? If enemy will give us time, I'm pretty happy about it. Let's foretell the other thing. Because we can still make a 1 counter spell a turn, and that's enough. Lolf. Henrika. Giving enemy cards is something I don't exactly want to do. They will draw. And like we have so much card draw in the deck, but we just didn't hit a single card of them, and I don't know when we will. So we can kill it. He will draw a card and lose 1 life. I will do it like this. I don't love it, because there is a chance that they outvalue us if our draws will be abysmal, and so far they are. See? Abysmal draw. Basically the worst we could ever draw. And maybe I will just add one select. No, but we have like 8 or 10 card draw cards. Like, it's insane, and we just cannot draw them. Okay, so the enemy wants to drain us. That's interesting. So his game plan is to get us to 0. Crazy, ain't it? So he wants to keep attacking for next 5 turns. And then, when it dies, get a trick. Thank you. Freaking thank you. So, we are doing this like this. We are just foretelling all the cards from our hand. So basically we are forcing enemy to do something. He will draw a card, he will play land. He might activate the hive, which is basically best we could hope for. And I wanted to foretell this, because if we are forced to counter something, we will have 2 mana left. This would break our turn completely, because then we wouldn't be able to invest into card draw. And right now, we actually can counterspell, the same as we could before. Yeah, we cannot double counterspell, but that's like enough. Okay, so that is his play. So he's going for the blitz cost. Yeah, sure. So we will exile it definitely. And I will pay the Doomskar to do it. Because Doomskars are not great, especially not so many of them. So enemy wanted to invest into more card advantage, instead he whiffed, basically. Okay, that's a thing. That was a very good draw. So he will keep blitzing, and that's a problem because we are falling so much on the cards. Like, the fact that we weren't able to play lands or anything is just so devastating. Let's go with the Revelry, because we get the full value. Let's play those freaking lands. Oh man. Unfortunately, this will never be in the board for the farewell, but we can just exile the graveyard, so probably at some point that's what we do. Man, the draws made this game so crazy awkward, because I think it's one of our better matchups, honestly. So enemy decided that we don't have a counter spell if we didn't counter the underdog previously, I think. Okay, sure. So now the question. We could double block this if we farewell. However, we might not hit the land. But then we Doomskar, right? Then we Doomskar. I think we double block this. Because if we get rid of the underdog, like, we are okay, more or less. We lose some HP, but it doesn't matter, we have enough Revelries in the deck. But I want to exile those treasures quite a lot. So, okay, so right now he will attack with the heavy and blitz the underdog. And of course, we didn't hit the land. Why would we ever hit the land in this deck, right? Oh man, it feels so awkward because we have perfect answers, we just never can cast them because we are forced to like tap out completely to keep drawing anything. It's so irritating. Oh man, so we could go for Doomskar, but I don't think that's a play. I think we are taking 6 and exiling the underdog. I'm not sure about this play. It might also be a draw into land. You know what? Honestly, I think it's okay. Like, we have to hit a land, right? We have to. I'm not sure how good Hullbreaker here is. But it is definitely a thing that matters, so I will take it. Man, I do not like my draws at all. We have like triple Bankbuster and 4 of the Behold the Multiverse and Memory Deluge. Okay, that's fine. Do we care about the graveyard? Not really. We will exile it ourselves. So I think the farewell is the play then. Unfortunately, enemy has another hive. So that is kind of a problem. Shakedown heavy. I don't want you to draw cards. I do not want this one bit. Both have menace, so that's a bit of a problem. So this will also cut into his lands, and Farewell can get rid of all the treasures, which also matters a bit. That's a big hit, but I think it's worth taking 1 card from the enemy. He might blitz it for the card. Oh man, he's playing perfectly into our Farewell. Yeah, so that's a Farewell. Imagine if we had a counter spell with 1 additional mana, how different of a game it would be. Maybe, yeah, but we played the land, right? That was the land, so even if we didn't take the Hullbreaker, it would still be the same. Man, I'm so frustrated after this draw, it's insane. Okay, definitely this. Creatures, artifacts, enchantments, graveyards. See ya. And I do think we go for +1. He might activate the hive and kill the Emperor, but that's fine. Then we have like full turn. Okay. He might also go for the face, hoping he will hit the spell or something. Very good. Like that's perfect for us. So basically he used his full turn to get rid of the Emperor. Acquisition Expert. Sure, my friend. This will be another Doomskar because we have plenty of those. That's a very good draw. I like this draw. And now we also have Hall of the Storm Giants. I will highlight it because I don't want to use it. So I want to make enemy think about it. So enemy is really set on this plan of draining us to 0. And we can cast Hullbreaker? No, of course, we always have too little mana for everything. We cannot even cast 1 mana spell after this. I'm feeling some kind of removal. Enemy didn't attack even. Like, it's either a land or it's not a land. So you know. Like we can get life, we can... I want the card. And I do want the card. I think this is one of the worst draws in the deck right now, because if we hit a land, that's perfect, because it enables our play. If we don't hit a land, we should hit a card draw, like, you know, one of the 6 of them that we have in the deck, Emperor, anything like this. Okay, and we don't care about the graveyard, so for this reason, we let it tap. So you always have this decision, do you let them tap, or you don't. If you care about this exiling effect, then you don't let them tap, but if you don't, they need to waste 1 additional mana, and that's sometimes like big thing. Sure, good choice. I endorse it. Also, whenever you exile Hive, you cut their mana base. It does matter. So right now, they attacked only with the Acquisition Expert. Sorry, with the Hive, so no attacks from Acquisition Expert, so basically they wasted their full turn. Oh man, are you actually in our deck? That's so crazy. Double freaking why. Easy game. Also, Revelry, because why not? For the full value. Land. See, this is how the deck is supposed to work. 5 turns ago. Man, if we win this game with the most awkward draw in history, then this deck is really good. Like, that was everything wrong. We got basically Doomskar set opening hand. Okay, so he wants to play it rough. So I think they have the spare, right? They usually keep the sacrifice effect in the back. Man, I think he has the spare in hand. So know what? Let's draw. See what the options are. Let's consider our options. This is not the best option in the world, but better than the land, I guess. 3 mana open. I will invest. I'm not loving this one, but I'm scared of Tergrid, because if he has a good follow-up, we might get swept off the board, and we don't have direct removal. And no, not having direct removal is scary. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It means that we have Hullbreaker and Jwari. And that might be the only thing we need for the rest of the game. Enemy actually still out-card us, but not for long. What will you... Like, man, we could just draw cards. Probably that would be game-winning, right? If we cast the Hullbreaker and he can... Yeah, he has open mana. So, I think it would be a bit reckless to just smash the Hullbreaker. Okay, I like this option. I kind of like this option. Let's play land. And let's make sure. This is awkward. I don't want to attack because he has good blocker. We are at 15 by the way, so his drain plan was completely failed, as expected. He wants to blitz. That's perfect. That's actually perfect. We could also just activate... No, okay, then it would be tapped. So... He has 5 mana. You know what? Let's go for the first Hullbreaker. Because we have 2, we can bait one of them with Jwari. Enemy is not really damage based. He might have mid hook, but that's it. So, like right now he can draw a card, but he will be so destroyed on tempo that we don't care. I could get rid of it, right? We could cast whatever, like Jwari when he casts the underdog, and just bounce it. But I don't mind him drawing this one card as a half of his turn play. With Bankbuster we can draw a bit of more cards. So we can bounce it, right? Or we can just... Okay, I've got the plan. We will... Yep, sacrifice, we draw card. So I want double instant and double Hullbreaker. Okay, that's it. I think we have enough. This seems to be definitely enough. Okay, so let's start to be aggressive and let's crew this one, because enemy has no real pressure on the board and we can force him to block very quickly. So basically we have Hullbreaker Horror into Jwari that will bounce 2 stuff. Okay, that's very good, so we got rid of one of the blockers. What is the play? Deadly Dispute. Deadly Dispute. You know what? I do not mind it. So we counter it, and we bounce the Shakedown Heavy. And that was the chess move to close the game. Like, even without the second Hullbreaker, we actually had the full game plan behind. We had Sweeper, we have card draw, and we have, like, win condition. And that wasn't even needed, we already won. Okay, we are going first with some card draw, some Sweeper, and Sunset Revelry. So we are bound to get some value. Let's start with the planes, because those lands make decisions, the planes does not. And you know what? Let's pretend we are mono-white. Cause why not? Mono-white control. The first double blue is Memory Deluge. So we can start casting them right now. I think that live game might be important versus Grixis. So let's hold. So that's a card draw. And that was quick. We don't want those lands and Doomskar. So definitely not the correct cards. Okay, I like those more. But not perfect. We definitely want something better. Honestly, at this point I think it's Sunset Revelry. Like, I just want to cycle cards and hit lands. That's a very good draw. I would love to foretell it, but worst case we might just whiff on the turn, next turn. Yeah, I think we foretell the multiverse next turn. And that's it. So this is probably Invoke deck. Even though it's 3-color, it's probably some kind of Invoke deck, right? Okay, no card draw for you, my friend. Do we kill it? I don't mind to go into like full control game. Fading Hope? That felt weird. It's either Spikefield Hazard, which they shouldn't play, or that was Fading Hope. So we definitely keep Test of Talent. This is very important card for the matchup. Optimally we would like Test of Talent and something like Jwari or Counter Spell to back it up. So we ensure that we invoke like Exile this Despair or whatever. Okay, not loving this one, but you know, Fable, good card. What can you do? At least we get to draw some lands, hopefully, at some point. I do want the Bankbuster, that's an important card. Okay, and we hit the land, that's super important part of the situation. Okay, so Bankbuster, and this seems like a Fading Hope so much. And honestly, I don't want him to have the chance to untap. Man, Fable is such painful card to play against. Do we really farewell just to kill a 3-drop that we already used removal on? Like, this is just playing horrible. Okay? Man, like, we need to hit mana, like, we are so starved on the mana, we have infinite card draw. Yep, you get your card. I still don't know what exactly we play against. Is it Vampire, right? Like deck? So they have Evelyn? Like, so far it's just random creature and good cards that always are put in the red decks. Okay, so it has to be like Artifact. So do they have like Anvil? It seems like Anvil deck without the Anvil or Artifacts. I'm not sure, that's weird. I guess it is an Anvil deck. Sure? Okay, so Farewell will be extremely important. Man, we just need to hit lands every single turn for the rest of the game. Like, we desperately need to do it. Oh yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would prefer the blue one, but I will take this one as well. It's fine. It's really fine. We are at 20. So if anything, we do the stuff next turn. It's unfortunate we won't have enough mana, so I think we exile Kikijuku with March, which sucks a bit. But you know, what can you do? Such a pressuring card. So I predict Anvil. Remember, we have 3 Sunset Revelry, so we have 12 HP that we can get at some point in the game. So Anvil shouldn't be the worst, especially with Hullbreaker. Like, we can cast Hullbreaker next turn we want, but we are at this part of the game, so Anvil is not the most scary one. This one is actually a scary one. Oh man. Now I wish I had the counter spell. So we can exile the Harvester to prevent the card draw. I really do not enjoy this, and we have no way to kill Planewalker. Man, this sucks. I think we just need to let him draw. We can draw 3 cards this turn, and I think that should be enough. Like, we need to go into full control versus control. Luckily, we are at 17. Yep, that's your card, you got it. But it's basically 3 mana, draw a card for now. Next turn it will be worse. And we need to hit Fateful Absence then. Okay, I do want 1 land. And I'm not risking that we whiff on it. Of course we then draw 2 lands, because why wouldn't we? But it's fine, it's still okay. That's a good card, a bit late. Okay, we definitely have good options right now. We definitely have options. I'm thinking about Hullbreaker Horror. We could also just go full control mode, but we don't have white card to exile. Man, we are so starved on the mana. We want for well and something more like counterspell. So if he copies it, he gets the treasure, he gets the copy. It's what? 6 damage to the face, and we are in trouble. I think we go for it. Not happiest about this choice. I think that's the right thing to do. And with Fateful Absence, right? I don't want to discard anything. Cards are too important. So yeah, we tap out heavily, but thanks to this we will have Soaring coming for the future turn, and we don't need to discard anything. If we use the Bankbuster, like, we can create a board pressure out of nowhere. So this last trigger is something you want to like use consciously, because you can sweep and then for basically 1 mana in total just create a 4/4, and that creates a need for an answer for the enemy, and that's good. Like, if he attacks only with the Harvester, I'm happy. It also means, you know what we could do? Nah, we can't. Or we can. We can actually crew. And then we have the treasure and we can kill Kaito. I do like this play. I like this play a lot. Because I think he might kill it, but it forces an answer. And it means he taps out, he wastes card, and we kill Kaito anyway. And he misplayed because we can crew as an answer. See? We actually made this turn so awkward. Like, he just wanted to attack into the empty board and get a card. Instead, he needs to scrap for his Harvester life, and we will kill it. So he needs another one. Good? It means that you cannot protect Kaito. We unfortunately lose some card advantage, so that's a problem. But enemy doesn't get cards as well, and we have Hullbreaker, and we have like a lot of pressure right now. And look at his turn, like, he just started with fresh attack, now he has 4 HP, 4 mana, and basically that's it. So he will get some cards. That's unfortunate, but with Hullbreaker I think we can work it out. And it's probably farewell right now. Also for artifacts, because he stepped out, he cannot use the clue. And that's basically the setup that we wanted for the turn. Well, Bankbuster, you were a great friend. I really do appreciate you. You did your job. Graveyards. How much do we care about graveyards? We don't. Enchantments? Sure. Why not? I'm not great at ordering those things. It won't matter this time, but generally I'm not great at ordering those things. He can copy the Upriser and draw a card in response. He can also get a blood, but we force him to basically do everything right now, and the board is clear. And he didn't. I'm pretty sure he had untapped Kiki-Jiki, and he could just draw cards with this, right? Yeah? Just copy it for 1 mana and get the card. That's not the worst. I don't mind this one. Like, it's irritating as hell, but it's not game winning. And we need to leave the counter spell for something that is game winning. March for the Hive. Hullbreaker. Hullbreaker will be so important here. I think we even give him the treasure. Because like on the tempo side he has a lot. 1 mana can make a difference, but you know, you can live with it. And he needs to play something more because the board is not threatening. And look, we are already at so many cards. Okay, so that is the decision. So I think we counter one of them, right? And the token has more well, this one has more loyalty, so let's go for the higher one. So this way he has less options. He's tapped out nearly completely. He didn't draw with the Kiki-Jiki, so he has only 1 card instead of 2. And I will invest 2 life, even though he has Hive, but we have answer for the Hive. So I think right now the play is Hullbreaker into Test of Talent. He might have Infernal Grasp because we didn't play a lot of creatures, so there's a high chance that that's the play. If he activates the Hole, that's a bigger problem, I guess. Go
ahead, plead for mercy.
I will discard it. I like the mana so much, but I think 2 life might matter. Okay. And I think this is the damage that we actually will take. Because I want to see what he will play after this. He has only 4 mana. And if we kill the Hive with the March, then he activates the Hole and kills us. Maybe we could kill this, then play Hullbreaker when he activates the Hole and thinks he's smart. And then we cannot answer up. Well, you know what? It's honestly quite interesting play. But if he doesn't do it, we are screwed. I think we take this one. We have so many cards that we can actually go for multiple plays. Maybe I should play this first. I actually should play this first because we might hit some cards that will change our play. Devastating Master is okay. So do we go for the Master? Enemy has open mana, so we don't really want to give him cards, right? So 3, so 6, and if we hit a land, then we can march into the Hole. And this is actually such a hard choice. Okay, that's a good draw. I think we just chill, because right now we have so many options. I hope he finally taps out for the Hole. But with Wandering Emperor we are not so scared anymore. Because we can exile the Hive and still have counterplay.
Pleasure doing business with you.
We use Farewell because this hits Planewalkers. And as you might have noticed, the Planewalkers are so irritating for this deck. Okay, so the Hive is the choice. Sure. And he wants to go for the Memory Deluge, right? We will have 2 mana after it. I would prefer to attack with the Emperor right now, to be perfectly honest with you. 5 mana, 2 cards. Can he kill the Horror? I think we march it. It's not great, but if he activates the Horror, he cannot copy because Kiki-Jiki has Summoning Sickness. If he activates the Horror, that's such a heavy tap that we are okay with it. If he taps out ever, we will Fateful Absence probably. And let's keep drawing cards, because that's what control mages like to do. We need cheap stuff. A lot of cheap stuff. Sunset Revelry seems like pretty great card here, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, this is game deciding choice. Hullbreaker definitely want the backup version. We want instants to go with it, so probably like, is it Jwari? I think it's actually... I think it's Jwari. Sunset Revelry is so tempting. Wow, we got another one. You know what? Sure. So if he activates the hole, he can copy it with the Kiki-Jiki. That will be a bit of a problem. But we have enough mana to do everything. So it's okay. Good starting choice.
Coin or carnage.
Good starting choice.
His own.
I don't think we have time for Devastating Master, to be frank. We definitely don't want to lose HP. We have enough cards that we can keep discarding and we are still ahead. This hole is a real problem. I hate having to use March on the small hive, but he made it very successfully, very awkward. If that's the only attack, I'm super happy about this. We have a throwaway Hullbreaker Horror, so this one we can just force enemy to answer somehow. Let's go to blockers. It also blocks Horror perfectly for the next turn. Oh, enemy doesn't seem to have answers, and that's really bad. That's really bad for him. And it's my turn. I don't want to tap out with Hullbreaker. Land is amazing. My land is amazing. If we want to target the hole, it's what? 4 and 2, right? No, 3. So we have 4 mana left. So we have still double counter spell. So let's slowly... Yeah, of course it will be slow, because it's Sloth, right? So we will kill the Planewalker that we hate so much with passion, and I hope he goes for the hole. When he goes for the hole, we just go for the Emperor, and then exile it, pay the ward. So he cannot go with the hole anymore. That's pretty good. So, Jwari, my friend, and you will return this spell to your hand. So he can recast it. But then that's basically everything he did, and we cast Emperor, and that's it. 1 mana. Sure, I will risk it. And he should scoop right now. I think that's the closer. So, double Hullbreaker. Seems good. So this is 14 damage, right? Quite a lot. And we have 3 instant spells. So, here is your turn. If he casts Soaring, then he cannot really cast anything. And like Emperor is so good here, because it prevents... It is basically a counter spell. Like it's Obscura Interceptor right now. On top of the Wandering Emperor. So imagine how broken it is together. If, yeah, he needs to go for the kill, because that's his last option. Like this is his last chance right now. And we need to be careful, because we cannot bounce it, and we need to pay the ward. No thank you. No thank you. Okay, I thought he has something else on top of the hole. So yeah, I think we navigated this game nicely. Like the first Hullbreaker Horror was a bit risky, but he just didn't have the answer, and the second one was the game closer completely, and they trade so well with the hole. Okay, this one on the other hand is actually a really good hand and good start. So I will cast Otawara. I don't think we are in a place that we want to hold this. Right, you doggy? This one is horrible. So let's start with Otawara. This one is okay, but not my type. This one, oh no. This one is a bit too hippie for me, but Okay, you can stay. Okay, you can stay. You know, the important part of Magic, right? Okay, so right now we could hard up counter spell, but this is the best turn to put the Bankbuster, because enemy needs to have a game-winning turn to play. And believe me, it's not easy to do. Honestly, Bankbuster is basically this. And if he doesn't, oh boy, he's in trouble. Now, enjoy being out card drawed while we are on the play. And at some point Bankbuster will be a creature, so that's even better. Enemy can cast instants, he might have a Braid or something, but we don't play around it. We wouldn't Test of Talent it anyway. We just want more cards. Let's go for white, we have Devastating Mastery. So, do we go full tap out mode? I think for now we use the Bankbuster. Behold the Multiverse can be for future, because I want to keep drawing every turn, and while I tapped out for 3 drop, I don't want to tap out when he has 4 mana, because that's the windfall. We have only one Test of Talents, we need to make it count. We need to make it count. I need to identify what deck are we playing against. Is this like Invoke? Is this like the combo with Kazal's Fury or whatever it's called? Then we destroy like Invoke probably. Okay, so it's some kind of Leer deck, I think. Because they like having like basic card draws, because with Leer it's basically draw 2 cards for 2 mana. With dumping more of the cards to play. Okay, enemy actually tapped out so heavily. So, let's go for the full draw mode. And we need control cards. Oh man, I shouldn't take it. I shouldn't take it, but I like Jwari so much. So basically we do 3 lands from the top. Good, good, good. What could go wrong? But we still have 2 cards here. So it's okay, but definitely, yeah, I should just dump Jwari. But I hope the second card will be relevant, or at least the card that we draw. Sure. So Windfall is something I might consider Test of Talenting, because that's usually the big card for the deck. Oh, I see. I see. The game plan just changed, so Tasha, Hideous Laughter, is the play. Can he answer? Yep, he can. So we need to answer after he resolves this. Because the answering always takes priority and goes first. Here he sacrifices as a cost, so cost is paid, sacrifice is done, and now the effect is on the stack. And we want to remove it while it's there. Devastating Mastery, completely redundant for this matchup. Fading Hope. Oh man, that's something I did not expect. Okay, you don't get the card. But yeah, that's still painful. We need to kill them quite quickly. So he gets the land without the triggers, but he will replay the Ruin Crab. Probably very quickly. He wants to protect it, and that's a smart choice because he needs to mill a lot of cards. So we are keeping a Test of Talent for Tasha, Hideous Laughter. We need to draw a lot of cards here and probably pressure them with Bankbuster as soon as possible. That's a very good draw. That's actually a very good draw. And I should have played Pathway on the blue. That's my bet. So we can counter 1 spell only. That was bad on my part. I mean, like, really bad. Because right now, like, we can this and into Jwari, I guess, so it's not the worst. I definitely want the Bankbuster. I want to pressure them as soon as possible because we need to finish the game quickly. Basically, their deck exactly preys on our deck. If we cast it, we might bait some mill spell. I'm scared of the crab, what can I say? I will counter it. He knows it's valuable creature for the matchup, and I also know it. And if he casts Windfall, I want to bait enemy into thinking that, man, they probably tapped out of all the counters. Please, not the manual taps. Double cast. So they're preparing for Tasha. They don't have invoke mana, so we can safely just draw. They will Fading Hope the pilot probably. We didn't give them many targets, but we can still crew, right? Let's fix the mistake from the last turn. I nearly played the planes. Somehow I just play planes. So we know. Let's crew. Man, Bankbuster in this deck is actually so gas. And I still want those sleeves. Man, I'm so sad I don't have those. Those are one of the best sleeves ever. And I exactly missed on them. I've been trying to find them online. Really, I'm in desperation mode right now. Okay, 4 damage. It's not great. We could Emeria call, but that's not great. Oh, my friend. Oh, that's a risky play. So I assume that it is possible because he had the priority and he didn't bounce the token. But in my mind, like, you know, if that's what you do, I don't mind drawing more counter spells. Like, I get the idea. He wants us to draw more cards so he can mill us. Crush the weak. Oh, that's not something I expected. Sure. So we need to wait a few more turns before we can smork him again, but our real win condition is playing clans and Hullbreaker Horror. Enemy is really patient, I can respect it. And we will draw card every turn. Problem is, enemy has 5 cards, 5 lands. Look at our stuff, like we have just way more. And I'm not burning the treasure, it will be extremely important at some point in the game. Can we? We could do it right now. Then when he double casts Tasha, he deals Laughter, we can get rid of one of them, right? He can double cast the other one though. I still think it's a miracle. Probably it will get Fading Hoped, and to be frank, I should probably pay the treasure. Because if he kills the treasure at the end step, we are... Oh man, I actually nearly fucked it up. Let's crew? I think it's not too late, right? We didn't declare attackers. Good. So like he can do the stuff, but it's basically an angel with haste. And he doesn't seem to have too much. I think by now he figured out that somehow we always have 2 mana open. So that might trigger him into like playing around Test of Talent, and especially Jwari. But yeah, he knows Test of Talent might be game-winning move. But yeah, he's looking at the... Man, I hope he cannot kill the treasure. Even if he has like a Braid, they sometimes play it. He will have only 3 or 4 mana. So that's not enough to make a combo. Oh, I think with double cast you can... I think the Fortel cost is 1 red, right? So they can cast a Braid into land, into double cast, into Tasha's Hideous Laughter. So it is possible, and I think it's the best turn for them. And here it comes. Yep. Here comes the Tasha. Oh man. Is this the mass Fading Hope? Like, if it is, then we will just Jwari something, right? Also, he's wasting the cheap versions of the cards. Okay, so he went for this road. Yeah, it doesn't search stack, so it means that we don't exile other versions, of course. That's interesting. I think he still has Tasha Hideous Laughter in the hand. And he will double cast it turn after. But this is what? 24 cards. You know what? I think that it is enough. It's not with the kicker. I think he wanted to bait the test of talent, to be perfectly honest. So basically it's 16 cards. Not perfect. Definitely not perfect, but I have idea for the next turn play. And you know, we are starting to pressure him, which is pretty huge. Let's attack like this. Not like this. So enemy is at 8. This is better because it has haste basically. Gives a creature haste. So I think this will be Galvanic Iteration into Tasha Hideous Laughter for the win. And we Jwari the Galvanic and we Test of Talent the other one. And then we win. That's my plan, that's my prediction. Enemy seems to be playing really smart. I really like how he's playing. He is not throwing all the punches yet. Like, this was a bait play, I think, more than anything else. I think he's thinking, is this guy actually good and he's not using Test of Talent? Or he actually doesn't have it. And I think he will go with the, I think he doesn't have it. See? Easy. Oh. That's not what I wanted. But you know what? It's actually enough. I thought, yeah, I should have waited. Man, that was learning experience. Learning experience. We still get to exile everything. And he had, yeah. So exactly, he played it extremely well. I'm pretty sure that other player would get baited into countering the Cacophony, and then he would win this turn. So right now he's tapped out with Lethal on the board, so we might as well draw some cards. No. We need like something that gives this a haste, basically. But the game is won, so exactly as we predicted. Man, this feels fulfilling. Oh, he gained 1 life. That's an oopsie. That's an oopsie. Man, I got a bit too sure about the win. I didn't realize this gives 1 HP. Oh man, that is the biggest blowout in Arena ever. Oh man. So he will double cast the Cacophony, right? Oh man, that sucks. It's not like we would do anything else, right? So that's fine. Before we answer, let's see what exactly he will do. He cannot pay the kicker, right? Okay, so now, this is actually the best card draw. Wow, that's some quality cards. This is 16 cards, so if we don't draw anything, man, we actually will lose this. And if I drew everything main phase, I would draw the Emperor for the kill. So, definitely the better player won. Definitely the better player won. Good game, my friend. Oh man, we actually lost this. Oh, I never... Can you believe? This is the first time ever in Arena where Maestro's Theater won the game, the win condition. And I will probably put this game online. I want to make you guys see my shame play, and I will deal with it. I do accept my mistake. And I think that's worthwhile. Oh man, this 1 HP feels like a big spike in my heart right now. Good game, Tishka. He definitely played extremely well.